All right, everyone, it is Friday, and you know what that means. It is time for Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. And no, that is not Kurt Anderson sitting right over there. That is Theresa Mincer, awesome person from our team. And I couldn't think of someone better to talk to about this topic of AI marketing for manufacturers and how small teams can compete with big budgets. Theresa,
Yeah, it's
thanks for
something.
being here today.
Thank you. It's something we use all the time. It's very exciting, and it's exciting to see just how much it's changed just even in the last 6 months to a year. It's crazy.
Yes. So let's take our let's go back in the Wayback Machine and think about 2 years ago when we were doing the process of helping people create content and doing things like that. There was a fair amount of effort in getting a blog post made, even with the transcript, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't really doing the blog post then, but yeah, because you were, taking a transcript, which in and of itself is never perfect. And then, kind of creating the blog post from that. And what AI has been able to do is change that, because you're really able to get the information from an expert, and then you can run it through the AI, and that doesn't necessarily create you can have somebody on your staff do that without them having specialized writing training or things like that. I mean, I think that's the big difference, is that there's a way kind of to push that out to other people that you work with that don't necessarily have that experience.
Yeah. And that's, I think you can't stick a transcript at AI and then just go, okay, it's good, post it. I mean, you need to do that human review. But it does make that, taking all those little pieces and parts of a transcript and puts it into something that's fairly coherent right from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's just like a tool. I think that's, people are like AI, but people have been using AI for a very long time. Because Grammarly is AI, Canva is people have been using this, and it's just like another tool that we have in our tool belt to help create content. And this tool decreases that amount of time now that you need. But what we're able to do is get information from experts and let them review it at the end. So we know that content is accurate. Like, we just had a client where he's like, oh, I'd like to change this or that. So we still know that information is accurate, but we are able, it's just a tool like anything else.
Yeah.
That's my big takeaway from AI.
Yeah. And I think really when we talk about how small teams can compete with bigger budgets, it's really getting scrappy with these kind of tools that help us to be more efficient.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we're typically not working with companies that have 10 people in their marketing department and those kind of things. So it is really there's a lot of companies out there where the founder may still be doing the marketing. You may have a marketing person part-time on your staff, and you're like, how can we really increase what we do? And I think that there's tools now that helps these small teams really increase their output.
Well, and especially like with a marketer who is very passionate, or not a marketer, like a founder, they're very passionate about what they do. And sometimes they love to talk about it, and they like to explain, how they've developed their process or parts that they've created. And I don't necessarily think that somebody who works for an agency is really going to be as passionate about that tool or that part that they're creating, or how they came about their business as that creator or the founder. And so when we can interview that founder about things that they're passionate about and that they love, we are able to kind of relay that in a way that I think maybe people weren't able to do in the past.
Exactly. And it's so easy to do it. Now, Fahad has a question here. Thanks, Fahad. You've asked several. Can AI replace humans? I mean, right now you can generate content with AI. You could stick it up on your website. You could put it out, but without the human editing factor and correcting and making sure that things are accurate, it is still pretty iffy to do that, I would think. What do you think, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I think it's like you need that human for the interview. You also need sometimes on the back end somebody helping them with what they should be talking about or explaining. And then we're doing a check after everything comes out of the AI. You know, typically they're doing a check as well, because what we want is we want that voice and that passion that they have for their business to come through, because ultimately that's how they're going to sell their business. You know, and their products.
Yeah, that's a great point, because, you know, if AI comes out a little bit sterile, we can adjust it, edit the text manually to make it be better. There's always little tweaks that you're going to want to do to it that really enhance, because as we work with clients, and like I said, these smaller businesses, they're not mega businesses that everyone knows. When you're working with a smaller business, it really is important to tell their story, why they're unique, how they love what they do. Like you said, the passion of the founders.
Yeah, because I think I love, part of what I do is I learn so much about different businesses and companies and why somebody has come up with the idea or how they've pivoted. Like all of those stories are so important. And I also think that the end customers appreciate that as well, because they understand that somebody's passionate about their business. But if we were to just throw that into, you wouldn't get that from there's their human touch involved with all of it. That's what I like.
Yes. I want to say, Usman, thanks for stopping by today. He says, greetings from Usman. He says, just a lot of great comments. And Fahad has known, I think those who learn how to use AI will get much benefit other than those, obviously. And that's really what we're talking about today is, you know, just making it easier for us and more efficient for us to create things like we could if we did it ourselves, if we were professional writers and other things like that. But as we talk about, in a small business, you don't have a staff of professional writers at your disposal and doing things like that. It's just a different thing.
Yeah. And a lot of small businesses don't have the money to then spend on having somebody spend hours working on a blog post. You know, we're trying to get out as much information for SEO and things like that, but also to educate customers. And you know, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And so we're trying to get those wonderful stories from these businesses, you know, out as quickly as possible so people can discover them.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it really is. It's hard if we had to sit down and do a how-to video or explain about a product or service in typing it out, right? Much easier in an interview format like this, when we're talking in a conversational manner about it, which it's easy for people to listen to, because someone can be, you know, the customer, so to speak, in that, and asking questions of someone about their business, about their product or service. But then, as you said, when we go to try to help with SEO with businesses and get, like we like to say, stop being the best kept secret and get wider known, you know, the AI is that tool that allows you to do that faster and more efficiently and in more places.
Yeah. And I also think it helps because of how we do it, where we're interviewing someone and we have a transcript. I think it makes it easier for them to express themselves a little more. Like they can just talk about what they like and what their interests are. And ultimately that's what we're going to be feeding into the AI, adding, you know, it's adding their exact quotes and their knowledge, which I think is the most important thing. So
I love that. Is, and you see how as we're working with AI, it gets better, and it does pull out the specific quotes from those subject matter experts or the founders to really let that passion show through in that information.
And I'm not sure you would always maybe get that if you weren't like interviewing them on video, and like it really is about their passion for what they're doing, and that person that might seem cold in certain circumstances because they're very technical, but when they start talking about what they love, that's what you see.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it's easier to just let that come out in the conversation then.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think so. And I hope that that's then what we're producing then when people are reading it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you said, we have to keep the human in our marketing because when we're selling to humans, right? We're not,
Mhm,
this is not all bots that are buying the products and
mhm,
services. We're typically working with people. These are kind of things that are a little more technical, a little more long-term kind of purchasing decisions, and people really need to get educated. They need to get to know who they're working with before they
mhm.
they go ahead and invest that time to take the next step.
Exactly. Well, and I think we're also trying to extract that information out of the subject matter expert, because we want, in the end, we want those questions answered. So we're trying to be that go-between.
Yeah.
And again, AI is just a tool that we're using to make that process faster.
Yeah.
Because we can turn around, we can interview someone and get, several blog posts from it.
Yes.
And for search, SEO, even hopefully AI search,
Yes.
people are going to come by that information quicker.
Yeah, yeah, it is interesting how answering those typical customer questions in these interviews helps you
Mhm.
to get into the AI search.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think so. And, I think we have to think about just even voice search. Like,
Yeah,
I have younger kids. They're much more into, I mean, not younger, they're young adults who are
yeah,
professionals now.
yeah,
And they use AI a lot. I think that's something that, somebody that's like marketing, or not marketing, they're older in manufacturing. Sometimes they don't think
yeah,
about, but these are the people maybe ordering the parts or searching
yeah.
for the parts or trying to figure out how to get them. And they search differently. So we
Yes, they
really
do.
need to hit everyone.
Yeah, that is that is a great point because as we're working with people, they may be older
Yeah,
executives in a business, and they don't search the same way that the people that are actually looking for their products, researching the product, and then
exactly.
ultimately recommending that are purchased.
Yeah.
They're going to search a lot differently.
Well, and they might not be the one that ultimately does that purchasing decision, but they're the person on the shop floor or like thinking like, okay, this is what I need to make this work. And we need to be for all of these, like for those people too. We need to, which I think AI helps us with.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So, if you had to just say what's got you excited about this process, about what you've seen the progress? What are some of the things that really excite you and seeing how this is helping these small teams really compete?
Oh, I think it's going to. I think it's just going to get better. And again, as long as we keep in mind that we want to get this great information from our subject matter experts, the AI is going to get better. I mean, I just to see where it's come in the last year is just unbelievable. And so as that gets better, then we are going to be able to hopefully produce more content for these people, but also make it more streamlined for them. I think there's
Yeah,
definitely ways to do that too, so that they don't have to have a marketing expert, on there, that, we can train them, they can learn how to do this themselves.
yeah, yeah. I really think that's one of the key points in how these tools are helping small teams compete is things that were left to a marketing agency that cost them, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars can now be handled, at least in a lot of respects, with a much smaller team or
Mhm,
using AI as a tool to help them.
mhm. But I think it's about educating them why they need to do this to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also educating them about how it works, right? Because even if we could just hand them something, but if they don't quite understand how it works, it's not going to help them. But
Yeah.
it is then making it this, it's making this whole process better for people who would not have been able to even financially be able to do this. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's going to help them, like these small. I mean, it's just so neat, like learning about all these smaller market manufacturers,
Yeah.
and it's just going to help more of them, I think, in the future.
Yeah. It's going to be able to give them, like you said, it brings the tools, more affordable tools, more efficient tools to
Yeah,
allow the small teams really do a ton more and things they could never do before.
Yeah, and help them be more competitive in the market, right?
Yeah.
Like if they can get their information out there, and I would think it would make them more competitive because they've got this way to really talk about their passion, right? In a way that maybe some big corporate, wouldn't necessarily be able to do. But you've got this guy who's running like a two-person CNC shop who
Yeah.
really cares about his business and what he's doing, and through this process is able to get that out there in a way that he was never able to do that before.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, Theresa, thanks for stopping by today. So much fun talking with
Thank
you, because
you.
you're doing it every day, making
Yep.
getting the content rolling, helping these small manufacturers
Yeah.
really learn how to do these processes and
Mhm.
helping them do it every day. Thanks for stopping by.
Have a great day. Take care. Have a great weekend.
All right. I want to just say before we wind out, I want to say, Fahad, you had some questions there. Sorry, I can't help you. I don't really can't understand how to get recruited by a recruiter, but I can tell you if you go out and connect with the right people on LinkedIn, you got a much better chance.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for being here. We're going to close down for now, and we will be back again next week. Have a great weekend.